Welcome to the channel. A couple of years ago, I bought this 1964 Suzuki K11. It's a little two-stroke 80cc bike, and it ran great, so I didn't bother doing anything with it. But now it's time. One thing I noticed when I bought it, it had an aftermarket air filter, just a foam thing connected to the carburetor, and there was nothing behind the side cover. And through a few checks, I found that this side cover isn't correct for this particular bike. It's probably off a K15 or something, where they changed the air filter arrangement. The left side has a correct one. It has the right depth, and it would work on this side other than reversed. So I went looking for a new one, and they're pretty hard to find the replacement original side covers for these things, so I decided to build a fiberglass one. Fortunately, when I bought the bike, it came with the original air filter, which gives me a starting point, and I'll go from there. I'll go through all the steps that I've taken anyway. They may not be correct. If there's an expert that is watching this, some of the steps may be a little bit off, but it should work. So here it goes. Here are the two side covers. This is the right side that the air filter should go underneath, and this is the left side where that's the ignition side, and you can see the difference in the depth of these. So let me grab the air filter here. Here we go. So the air filter is obviously taller than the right side cover. So at this point, I'll have to create a plug to start the process, and from the plug, I'll make a fiberglass cover. The starting point for this is using the same product I used in the little Corvette project, where I changed the rear end to look like more like a 68 rather than a 78. So it's just florist foam, and you buy this at any discount store. It's really inexpensive. What you do is just get enough to glue them up together and start your basic form to build a plug in order to use it to create a mold, and from the mold you'll make some covers. What I did is I took a pattern of the air filter and transposed it to cardboard and put it on the side so I can mark things. Just got a piece of cardboard, and I just made a template with the mounting holes and the inlet to mount on the frame, and work from there. After I built the template, I just mounted on the bike, and it gave me a starting point to where the inlet is going to be. The inlet is going to be from the filter, and then I can position a basic shape first to the carburetor. And I know the basic shape because of pictures I got out of the service manual. And hopefully it'll be close enough, and it shouldn't restrict any air. This thing isn't like a huge engine, so it doesn't require a whole lot of air, but there won't be any restrictions compared to the original rubber boot that it used to have. And then I took some florist foam, marked it out, and cut it out. And then at this point in time, I'm going to form, shape it, make another plug, and from the plug I'll make another mold, and I'll make a fiberglass piece. You can get new old stock rubber ones, but I found with new old stock rubber, by the time you get it, it's rock hard, and they crack as soon as you try to install them. So I'm not even going that route. I'll just build something from scratch here. So anyway, here you go. So I just want to form this with sandpaper and a razor blade knife. It's really easy to work with. A lot of sanding and body filler, and I put some straight urethane resin on this, and the foam is quite rigid there now and it's taking shape. I just have the glazing putty on there now. That'll be sanded again. Here's the intake boot. It's ready to go into the mold making process. Just a couple coats of gloss white over top of the primer. It did a pretty good job the first time around, so it doesn't need anything else. It's time to prep the plugs for the mold building process, and they're all painted and cleaned up as much as I could, polish them. And then what I'll use is this Pardal paste number 2. I've used this in the past and it works pretty good. So it's just basically a paste wax, and if I can open the lid, it came in tightly sealed, I guess, and here we go. It's just like a paste wax, nothing special, I guess. So what we do is we'll apply this to the molds, to the plugs, and let them dry a little bit and then buff it, and it'll take 3 or 4 coats, maybe up to 5 coats. So it's just a matter of being patient and applying it and letting it set for a little bit, not too long because it's hard to buff afterwards, and you have to buff between each coat. When doing these fiberglass projects, I like to use some chip brushes. They're not very expensive. I got 36 here in a pack for about $14, so you use them once, you throw them away. What I do with these brushes, they're too soft at the end for fiberglass work, so what I do is I just sort of clamp it down a little bit and I trim the edges, and that makes it easier. It's a little bit stiffer, not a perfect edge, but it's a little stiffer, and it usually does a pretty good job. What I've done is I cut strips of mat for this part of the process. I've got several already pre-cut. I'll probably have to cut more, but I'll start with this. after a lot of prying and poking and whatnot, and broke the mold at a couple places, it has come off. And it's actually not too bad. Now I'm going to reinforce the inside with a little bit more fiberglass, and that should do it. There's a few places on the outside. Actually, I went through with a scraper here. I'll fix that, and I think it'll be okay. A little bit of body work required here. And the moral of the story is, when you make your mold, don't make it so thick that it doesn't flex enough. So this is extremely rigid, so you don't want to do that. You want it to be able to flex so it can split from the actual piece a lot easier than what I went through. Here's a comparison of the covers. This is the right side, which is correct and original. This is the new one, and this is the left side that was on there. So if I go down here, you can see quite a difference between them. This is still too high, and I've got to correct it a little bit at a time to ensure that I've got that clearance with the air filter. Here's the new side cover. Just about done, just needs to be painted. And basically I'll put the knob in there. I've got a stop screw, a stop nut rather. Put this on. Got to put this on so you don't crush the fiberglass. It's going to stop it from being screwed on too tight. Here's your little tab that sticks out of the front. You feel that's put in that slot. And line it up with a hole. There we go. Doing a test fit on the finished piece. Make sure it still lines up. I don't know if you can see this. Lines up with the carb. And the intake. Has to be tilted back a bit. So I've got clearance here, so I'm good. And this will be fine too. So the intake is finished as far as shaping it goes, to the extreme sometime, I guess. What I did find is that the home improvement store, in the plumbing section, I found a hose that's just about perfect for mounting this. It's a little tight on the air filter, but that's okay. I like it tight. I don't want leaks. So what I'll do is I'll trim it down and insert this in there, and that's going to be a nice tight seal. Okay, let's see if it slides over it. Oh yeah, it's gonna work good. First. That's a nice fit. So this way. Now, talked about a good fit. Let's try the fit. Scratch a little bit of the paint off. That's no big deal. The hose has to be installed on the air filter first. Got some room for the hose in there. Alright, got lucky there. This is just primer yet, it's not painted, but gives you an idea. There we go. Well, this is one of those learn as you go projects. It was challenging, frustrating at times, but fun and fulfilling in the long run. With this part completed, I can move on with the restoration, but going forward, I'm going to break it down into segments rather than trying to jam everything in one video. That way I may be able to show a little bit more details. Well, that's it for now. I hope you liked this video. If you did, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe down below, and I hope to see you in the next video. Thank you.